talk about hurting the bank account. Ready? Let's do it. Oh my God.
Hit it.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to an episode of Wrecked Bike Rebuild where Chase spends every single dime he has in order to rebuild a hunk of shit. I'm just kidding.
A boat anchor.
A boat anchor. Ah, yes, it's not a piece of shit, it's a boat anchor. If you guys did not watch the last episode of Wrecked Bike Rebuild, we found out there's even more problems with the engine. We're on catastrophic level, but we got some good news. We're going to talk about in today's episode. But what we're doing in today's episode is we have a manual pulled up and we have an OEM parts fiche pulled up. We are going to spend this entire day finding out how freaking much this engine is going to cost to rebuild, because that's what we do here. We don't buy engines, and we're also dealing with a motorcycle that's 8 years old, so if we did buy another engine, we don't know what the hell that person's done with their engine. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, which are two hard places if you don't understand. So we're going to be spending some cash. Luckily, we got two ways of paying for this stuff. First off, if you guys like the show and you want to get early episodes, patreon.com/Chaseontwowheels. That is how you get the motorcycle. We build them and give them away. Go over there to help support the show. Secondly, our boys over at RevZilla, I contacted them and I was like, guys, we're kind of effed on this engine thing. Is there any way you could help sponsor the season? They were gracious enough to say, Chase, we appreciate you reaching out. We see that you're in a rough spot. RevZilla has agreed to be our official OEM parts supplier for this entire season. So, we are going to be getting all of our OEM parts from RevZilla. We're going to show you guys how to do that. I don't even know if you guys knew that RevZilla has OEM parts, but guess what? They do, and it's very easy to purchase. But we're going to be gone on RevZilla. We're going to be using Emmanuel's manual that we got, and by the end of this episode, boys, we'll know how much it's going to cost to rebuild this engine with brand new jiggly bits. I'm going to stop talking and move to the other camera because we have a lot to buy, and my credit card limit is going to be tapped. So here we go. You guys ready to buy things?
Man, you got a shitty limit.
Brian, we have an engine. We have totally taken it apart. We have, let's take you guys through how to get to the OEM stuff on RevZilla, because a lot of you guys probably didn't know you could order stuff on RevZilla, OEM stuff. I didn't know until recently, and they told me they are doing that now. So on the main page of RevZilla here, got some cool looking gear. Anyway, OEM, we are working on a Honda. I'm gonna go to Honda OEM parts. All right, so we got OEM parts. We have Street 2012? 2008. Make Honda. And we currently have a CBR1000RR. Go.
Now we have some options here.
Right.
If you are not sure which model you have on pretty much every Honda motorcycle, unless it's been removed, there is an information sticker towards the head, towards the steering head on the frame. There'll be a sticker. It will give you the model number printed out specifically, and you'll see one of these. It'll match up, and you can click on that one to make sure that you get the absolutely perfect manual that you're looking for. This is the Honda sticker that we are referring to, and the model number on this particular machine is just CBR1000RR. This is our 600 frame.
So
Our 1000 is outside.
Oh.
Because it's still a roller. Do you want to take a look at the 1000?
Just RR.
Okay, just RR. So it ends with an A.
Got it. All right, so boom, that's us. Thank you, Luke. This is all of our OEM parts. It's gonna have all the parts fiche broken out. So now that we're in the right area with the right bike, we also have, we got our manual from a website called eManual. Like, a manual for our bike literally costs like, I think 15 or 20 bucks. It is the go-to. If you have a motorcycle, you need to spend $20 on a manual.
I mean, if you're going to buy a paper manual from the dealership, it's probably going to cost you somewhere around 80 bucks.
Okay, so go to eManual and get a manual for your bike. Even if you don't plan on doing stuff, I would still say spend $20 on getting a manual.
I would agree.
Yeah, because like if you...
It has way more information in it than you're ever going to get from your owner's manual.
Right.
I mean, sure, there's a lot of information in the service manual that you're probably not going to need, but there is also a lot of information in there that you could use.
Right. By the way, guys, we will have links for the Revzilla OEM stuff and eManual's website. The thing I really like about having an electronic version of an eManual is we can literally click on lubrication system. Boom, we're in it. If we need to search for an exact word, like we can Command F and search this entire thing for piston or something like that. So I know you were saying you like a paper manual, but...
I like being able to have the paper manual laid out in front of me. It is a little bit bigger unless you have a real big laptop.
Right.
And I don't like having, fairly expensive electronics on the table while I'm beating on metal things.
I totally understand that, but keep in mind you could always print out the page that you needed if you wanted to get the lubrication system, print the pages out that you needed to, and then go work on
bring them out. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of where I would rest on it. But regardless, whichever way you do it, we highly recommend you guys get a manual. So now we have a general idea of how effed the engine is, but now we need to get parts on the way to here. So what is the most organized way to go through this?
So when I'm rebuilding an engine, I pretty much go to the microfiche and scroll through each individual page.
Okay.
For the engine assembly.
Right.
And I kind of can't say that that's easy for everyone to do. I kind of know what parts need to be replaced in my head from doing it so often. But I start with the engine pictures. I'll go through and I'll pick everything I need, and then if there are things that I need to verify in the manual, like one-time use parts or correct size bearings done in colors, it's actually the bearing sizes are denoted by color, not by actual size, so you need to get that information from the manual. So once I have all the stuff that I know I need in a list, then I'll go into the manual and I'll verify which parts are one-time use and order that stuff, as well as the coded bearing stuff. That's usually the end of it.
Right,
unfortunately, I think I may have mentioned this before, I may not have, but we won't actually be able to get the plain bearings until we get a new crankshaft. So we have to have the engine cases and the crankshaft here to take stamps off of both of those to put together to get our bearing color. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. But
all right, so we have the engine, and as you guys can see, the engine is there's not just an engine image. There's 4, 8, 12, 13 different, it's broken into 13 sections. So you literally start with like alternator cover. You would start there? I
would just grab that picture and take a look at it. So you want to start first photo, make sure that there's nothing you need on this page before you just go ahead and skip by it. We can go ahead and skip past this. We have that cover, it's in good shape. We have all the dowel pins, we have all the hardware, we can move on.
One thing I love about the Revzilla thing is, so if we were on here to replace the bolts, I don't have to sit here and count how many bolts because they automatically tell you the suggested quantity if you're going to replace this entire piece. So if you go here to the dowel pin, because like there's a lot of stuff going on this screen, and when we get to a more complicated piece, there's so much stuff.
Tons of numbers and lines.
Right. If you missed one of the dowel pins and you go to here to order it, you've got the suggested 2 quantity. So you're like, wait, did I miss one? I love that feature. Okay, so alternator cover, one of the few places that we're okay. Cam chain with a tensioner, next.
Yeah, go ahead and open that up.
We'll go straight to full screen.
Yep. So we are going to need our cam chain tensioner gasket.
Okay, number 5. Wait, what happens if I click? Bro.
Yeah.
Did you know this? You knew if you click a number, it gives you your cart? I'm inside the full screen. I clicked on 5, and I can literally...
From here, add to the cart.
From here, add to the cart.
That's really handy.
Mm-hmm.
Bro. So I didn't know that. I don't buy a lot of the parts. This is most of the guys doing this.
I use Revzilla a lot.
Okay.
Because it's very similar to what I'm used to, the microfiche that I'm used to using.
Right.
You know, there are some small differences on how you navigate it, but pretty much everything is there.
This makes, the last time I had to order parts, it was not, okay, so, sorry, I'm just.
Okay, so we also need number 18, which is a crushable washer for the cam chain tensioner.
Got it. Okay.
And then let's scroll down here. Can you click on 17 and see what the description is real quick?
6mm washer.
All right, I think we're good. I think that's an internal washer, not an external washer, so.
All right.
That should be everything on the screen.
So now we will go back. Camshaft and Valve.
There'll be a few of these.
I imagine so.
So we're just gonna go straight to the valve photo. We have cams,
Okay,
so we're good there.
We don't need any of this.
We're gonna slide over to this section here. Okay, so we're getting all new valves. So number 6 and quantity 8. So now number 7.
Okay, we need 8 of these.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now we need valve seals.
That is 2.
Wait, hold on. Do we need valve seals?
Those little green things, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna send our head off to the machinist, and we have all the ones that we've removed already. And they're, like I said, they're destroyable, so I don't think we need to get new ones because we're gonna have somebody else assemble our head. We don't need springs. We don't need the seat. We don't need the cap. We do need the keepers.
These guys, 16?
Yes.
And there's 16 of those because there's 8 times 2 on that side.
Right, there's 2 per valve, and these are the intake valve cotters. The
Right.
exhaust valve cotters will be different sized.
Yeah, and you can see they're a different number too. So,
Correct.
oh, we need 16, right?
Excuse me.
Okay. I like how this is hiding our cart price, so that at the very end of the episode,
It's just
we
bing.
can click, yeah, because then
Okay.
it'll be exciting for us.
So we did 16,
We did.
right? So now we're going to move down to here. Now we need 17.
We need 16 of 17. Got it. Couldn't be less confusing. Okay.
Okay.
Do we
Now
need the
we're-
little cap parts? I know
Nope.
we've organized them.
The buckets are all there. You know, all the shims and stuff
Okay.
are, you know, when it comes back from the machinist, all that stuff will be set. So we need to send all the stuff that we have with the cylinder head that we are going to purchase.
Okay. And we don't need this little guy on the end of
That's on the camshaft already.
Got it.
It's still bolted onto the camshaft. We didn't take any of that stuff off. The rest of the parts we have.
Right.
So, but we're not going to send them the valves that are, you know, we're going to send them brand new valves
Right.
to go into the brand new head.
Now, you said, were any of the lobes damaged enough to replace them?
Well, we're getting new cams.
Okay.
That's part of the
part of the
machining, is we're also getting a different profile camshaft.
So are
They're
they...
going to take those cams and they'll probably regrind them. And what regrinding them is they'll put a bead of weld over the whole thing, and then they'll grind them back down to a different shape.
Gotcha. Okay. So in that case, we should be done on this page then.
Yes, this page is complete.
Camshaft and valves, what we just did. Now to the crankcase.
Ouch.
I don't like you saying ouch, Brian. Holy shit. All right, let's just start from the left side, and then we can go there.
Okay, so we're just going to start on the page itself on the left side.
Right.
So we're going to get 30,
3 of them.
however many it says.
Gotcha.
So we
we
did
got-
30. Those
we
are
got
the
30.
these are all the oil feed pipes. So new O-rings to seal all that stuff off.
Okay.
I don't believe we need to replace the studs.
Okay.
They should be okay. So just slide this way a little bit. Okay, so wow, you can't get that O-ring separately, isn't that move?
12.
Yeah, but no, we don't need to get a whole. We'll just use the O-ring that's there. We're not going to buy a whole new sensor to get the O-ring to seal it. That is still in the engine case. Slide sideways a little bit here. That is still on. We have all of our dowel pins.
Man, that is
yeah. So that's
complicated.
those are all the bolts.
Okay.
So these are all of the bolts over on this side.
Gotcha.
So 15 and 29 are this section, and then this is
Everything else
this
that
is all
top
the
down on
hardware.
side.
So right now is where we would want to switch over to e-manuals
Okay.
and find out which pieces of hardware they want replaced.
Okay, so that would, I assume, be an engine removal and installation?
No, it's probably going to be in crankcase, transmission, crankshaft, piston, and cylinder. And then we're going to go to crankshaft section. I don't know if it'll let you jump or if it'll, nope.
Yeah, 13.5.
Okay, so blow that up a little bit so we can keep going. We're on the disassembly part, and that's what all of that. Now inspection, and pull the pipes out, and check the oil pipes and what you're looking for. Here we go, some installation points. Those are for the oil pipes, continue. Now you see, zoom into that real quick. I just want to point something out.
Which one right
The
here?
bottom picture, right there. So you see these little symbols.
Mm-hmm.
So that says MO oil.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be a key either in the beginning of the section or in the beginning of the manual that will tell you what all of those mean.
Right, and we got bolt Loctite. I
Right.
assume what that means.
So they're going to tell you that they want Loctite here. And this is a mixture of moly lube and oil mixed together that they want put on these surfaces.
Oh.
Okay.
And those are those curved areas?
Yeah, so those are the plain bearings that they're referring to, that you want to put a mixture of, apply moly oil solution to the main journal bearings. It tells you right here, this is what they're looking for to have a proper rebuild.
Right.
So if you skip this step, God forbid you put it in there dry.
Right.
If you put a crankshaft in the engine and you don't lube the bearings before you do it, you're going to have to redo the engine probably in about an hour's worth of ride time. The thing is just going to be gone.
Oh, good God.
Because the first time you start it, it's just going to be metal on metal, and it's going to wipe out the bearings almost immediately.
Jeez, man.
The clearances in between those two parts are so small that if you pour oil on top of it after it's been bolted down, it won't penetrate. So you have to put oil in it first and then squish everything out that doesn't fit. If you don't get that oil in there the first time, there's not enough room for the oil to actually penetrate in there, and it just wipes all the bearings clean. As soon as the motor gets warm, it's done.
How terrible.
I mean, that's like the worst thing you could ever possibly do is put a crankshaft in on dry bearings.
So this is a perfect example of why it's so important to, if you're going to do a job like this, especially like this.
To have a manual for sure, because it's and especially Honda manual, they are a little bit easier to use than some of the other manufacturers.
Right.
Honda manuals are written, in my opinion, for a beginner, like a beginner technician. You know, there is some stuff that you need to know. You need a base of knowledge to understand the terminology that's being used in here.
Right.
But if you can understand the wording, a Honda manual pretty much walks you through every step of rebuilding your motorcycle. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Kind of cool. Okay, so we're going to continue on a little bit further, telling you what lubrication you need there. We're going to get to the part, here we go. So here in this picture, it shows you to use oil and a new bolt.
Oh, that's what the bolt thing got.
Yes.
Oh, and here's that further tighten the bolts 90 degrees thing that you were talking about.
Yep. So torque, you either torque it to 27.5 Newton meters or 20 foot-pounds.
Right.
And once all of them are tightened down to 20 foot-pounds, then you turn each bolt an additional 90 degrees. Yeah. So, and you don't want to turn it 40 or you don't want to turn it 75 degrees, and you don't want to turn it 95 degrees. You want to turn it 90 degrees.
Right.
So you don't have to have a super duper expensive torque wrench like we happen to have here. When we do that part of the engine, I'll bring my angle gauge.
Okay.
So we could see what it looks like, and that's a far less expensive option to be able to set angle on stuff like this. So that's what we were looking for, is these bolts need to be new.
Okay, so now we go jump back over to Rosilla.
And those bolts are 17.
So we click on 17. We need all 8
We
brand
need
new.
all 8 brand new. Number 8?
17.
Oh, number 17. 8 of them. Sorry.
Okay. So.
And then now we want to go back to the manual again, and we want to go to the portion where we're assembling. So keep going. Now this is just getting barely into that. Here's the tightening sequence that I was telling you about.
Oh, wow. That is the most random.
Not random at all. Done that way very specifically. You tighten from the inside out.
Oh, so you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay,
Yes,
I can
it's
understand
tighten
that.
from the inside out.
When you first look at that, though, it's like, how the hell?
it's like, where did
some
they get-
child just came in and just threw them on there.
Now, do you remember I was talking about how to measure the spaces in between the plain bearings and the crankshaft? and I said I really didn't want to do it.
Yes.
So this is the description of that if you want to blow up into that photo. Okay, so this little piece of paper that he's holding is called a plastic gauge meter. You kind of can't see it in the photo because it's a little grainy, but there's a little strip of, it's almost like wax.
Okay.
And they come in like a sleeve of paper about this long. And you just take and you clip a little piece of it off that you need about that big, and you place it on the surface, and you put everything together, and you bolt everything down to spec. And then you take everything back apart again, and you use the paper that you clipped off. On the side of it are these little scales that are printed onto the paper.
Right.
And then that's the piece of paper that they're showing. And then you take that piece of paper and you hold it up to that piece of wax that's been smashed in between the two surfaces.
Right.
And you match up the thickness, and then on that scale it gives you a number. And that number is the actual size clearance in between the bearing and the journal for the crankshaft.
Do we have to do that?
I prefer not to. I think explaining it is enough.
I would also prefer not to, because
You know, should we? I mean, it would probably add easily an hour to our build. Just the plastic gauge, the two parts. Actually, technically, if you want to do it correctly, you do it for every journal.
So what do you? So you have that information, and then what? Like, what do you?
If it's wrong, then you buy different bearings. You know, you want to make sure that you're within the spec. But I kind of trust
I mean, if
the
we're getting,
stamps that are on the crankshaft and the engine cases that they are correct.
oh my gosh.
You know, so as long as your engine case, you know, journals where the bearings sit are in good shape and they haven't been damaged, then there's no reason to think that the stamps on the side of your engine case would be wrong.
And this is the ID code you were talking about?
Yes.
Crankcase ID
So here's
code?
where they explain to you that here's the where the IDs come together.
Right.
So here's the
okay.
crankcase ID and then the crankshaft ID, and then as you scroll down further, it'll give you a chart. And you put those two numbers together, or letters together, and so you have numbers and letters, and then it gives you a color. And then when you go to order bearings on the microfiche,
Right.
if you want to go to the microfiche, and we can go to this section now, and you're going to look for the crankshaft. So close
out of
this.
here.
Yep. And back one. And then.
Crankshaft and piston.
Yep.
And we'll get this open.
And then number 7. So number 7 says blue. Okay, now close that. Close the blown up diagram and go into this section and scroll down to 7. And there are multiple 7s.
Whoa. So,
So-
we got yellow, green, brown, black, and blue.
So those are the choices of bearing size that you have to make sure that your clearances are correct.
This is one of those funny moments where I believe everything you say, and I don't know if this goes for you guys, but Brian says so much stuff. It's not that I don't not believe you.
I could just be making shit up.
Yeah, but every now and then I'm like, is he just making that up? But then we go into this parts, the manual.
So you didn't believe me? You thought I was
No,
pulling your leg?
again, I believed you, but I'm just like, that is the most ridiculous thing. But literally seeing it in a manual is like, how do you know so much stuff? We just have blind faith over here.
Pure of heart.
Well, it's not blind. I'm explaining. I'm showing you the proof now.
I'm just glad you don't lie. Okay, anyway, so now we know all the color bearings.
All right, so
but
there's
we can't do that until we get the ID codes from the new
our
parts.
new crankshaft. Correct.
Right.
So we're keeping our engine case. We're going to order a new crankshaft. So we need to get the crankshaft here in hand to get the code off the crank so we can match.
At that point, we'll get our
bearings.
colored.
So let's jump out of this and go back and make sure that we didn't skip any pictures because we got a little sidetracked.
Got excited.
We were at crankcase. Okay, so the next, actually go back to, yes, in the crankcase. We'll make sure we didn't miss anything here.
Yeah, we were over here on.
All right, so we're over here looking at bolts. We wanted to go to the engine case. I want to make sure that they don't want to replace any of these smaller bolts, the 22s.
So we need to
Or
go
the
back
19,
to
and go back to that other page and verify and make sure that we're looking for where the engine cases get bolted together to see if it tells us that those need to be new.
So do we need to?
Just keep scrolling here. It should be, hold on, slow. So here it says, there again, plastic gauge, oil. So we don't have to replace connecting rod bolts.
Okay.
Although we may get new bolts when we get new connecting rods.
Okay.
But continue. Keep going. ID code. Okay, keep going. All right. little further. Hang on, going. So what I was saying is that we don't need connecting rod hardware. So it's just keeping that in mind.
Got it.
So you may actually have to come back over here to, crankcase, transmission balancer. And just start scrolling. Okay. So let's see if it tells us in this real quick. So on the first page, we probably should have mentioned that before, but on the first page of each section, it gives you an exploded diagram of the parts in that section.
Yeah, this is super helpful to look at.
Yep, so here it gives you torque specs.
Right.
Sometimes it will give you the icons for whether it needs grease or oil or moly or whatever else, or Loctite or whatever it needs. Not sure what that is showing. Oh, it's for the, never mind, I know what that's showing. These dowel pins flow oil though.
Oh, so
that's why they're very specific, yes. Okay, it doesn't actually say, okay, so scroll through. And keep on going until we start seeing some hardware. All the specialty tools for this section. All right, we already did the separation. We're in the trans, keep on rolling. Okay. Now, zoom in there a little bit. Let's be able to read some of this a little better. All right, continue. Keep on going. Still in the trans, keep going. All right, let's look at this balancer stuff real quick. That's removal, keep going. All right. Okay, so our balancer was jiggly. Zoom in here a little bit. Now, inside of that gear are these little cush drives.
Right.
So our cush drives could just be beat up. So we may not have to replace everything. We could just replace those cushes and then the bearings that it rides on.
Okay.
So we're just keeping that in mind.
All right.
All right, so continue on. That, if we take it apart, that washer has to be replaced. Right there it says new.
All right.
Scroll up a little bit. Make sure there's no other ones. Okay, it's the only one that needs to be replaced for the disassembly, or for the reassembly. Continue. New O-ring there. Continue. New crush washer there.
Okay.
Continue. Keep on going. This is telling you how to adjust everything, which we will have to do for sure. This is where to put your sealant. So you don't have to just put sealant everywhere. It tells you exactly where it goes, and it doesn't need anything more than that. Continue. How to time the balancer with the crankshaft. Continue. Okay, so here, this is the picture that we were at before, where we're replacing crankshaft main journal bolts. Let's see, now we're looking at the rest of the bolts in there, and those saying, this one says new right there.
Okay.
So zoom into that. That 1 7mm bolt. Oh, just the washer. That's one of the crush washers that needs to be replaced. Okay.
Okay.
So no more hardware, just that washer. Scroll up a little bit further. I'm sorry, the other way. Those bolts, nothing says new. O-rings we're going to be replacing anyway. Okay, good. So now we can back to the parts fish.
Okay. Back to Rose.
We're going to need that sealing washer, 28.
Just one, so we're good.
We already did 17.
We did.
I believe it's, let's see if it's 33. What does it say? Flange bolt, no, try 20. Also flange bolt, try 34. No, 27. That's it. Okay, done on this page.
Boom. So that's the crankcase.
Now we go to crankshaft and piston. Bum, ba, bum, bum.
Bum. Full screen, baby.
Okay, here comes the pain. Ready? We need a 1. And it should be 4 of those.
Okay.
Now we need 4. There should be
8 of those.
8 of those.
So far, we're not too bad.
Now we needed 2.
Whoa. Do we need 4?
We need 4.
Oh, whew, okay. This is like when you go to the grocery store and you buy meat, because meat always jacks your price up so much. Oh, God.
Well, this is the meat of it for sure.
Oh, God. We're not buying steaks. We're not buying steaks, are we? Okay.
We need 5.
We need 4 of these.
Yes. Now, let's discuss whether we need 4 of those or not.
Okay.
Okay, we have 2 of them
Uh-huh.
that are damaged and 2 of them that are in good shape.
Okay.
Do you want to put just 2 in?
I feel like if we're doing this and
Now,
I
if you
try to,
only use 2, you're saving yourself almost $300.
yeah, but also we have the opportunity. Like I just don't at this point. I don't trust the engine enough.
Okay. Now, that's a question you have to ask yourself when you're rebuilding a motor on your own dime.
Yeah, no. If we were a
If you
regular guy and had to
Don't
pay
need
for
to,
it,
like if this was just us rebuilding this, I'd probably still do pistons and rings because ours are so covered in carbon. You can't really get that off.
right?
You know, not you can if you have access to like steam cleaner or what is it, soda blasting.
Right.
You could probably, or if you wanted to drop that stuff off to a soda blaster, you could probably have that stuff cleaned up. But at that point, you're still taking material away from the piston to get them as clean as they need to be.
Yeah, and if you're
So
here, you're
at that
ordering
point,
stuff, you've got it apart.
Let's go ahead and do it and spend the $600 in pistons.
Thank you, Revzilla,
necessary.
for sponsoring this video and series.
Okay, so we are going to do all 4 connecting rods.
Yes.
Okay, so what is 22?
An
Okay, we
O-ring.
need that O-ring.
Just one of them.
We're going to do 21. So there should be 2 of them. Those are the bearings that the balancer rides on.
Got it. 2 of those.
All right, we're going to do 12, which is the cush.
12. Yes.
Okay, so there's 4 separate pieces, so get all 4.
Got it. And we're only doing the damper, not the actual
We're not
gear.
doing the gear or the shaft, the actual balancer itself. We're just going to do the cush drive that holds the 2 of those together.
Got it.
Pretty sure that's where all of our wobble is coming from.
Okay.
Okay, so the rest of that stuff we're going to keep. We're going to get a new 20, which is the Woodruff key.
20. Ah, the thing that was stuck up in there.
And here comes the pain.
Don't say 8.
Yes?
Don't. Oh, no. I don't want to know it.
You know, like I said when we were talking about it, I thought it was going to be more. So,
That's still
yeah, that's a chunk of change.
that's a whole ass paycheck.
That's a grando. I can't even hit it, Brian. I can't do it. I'm gonna. Oh, God. Okay.
That's somebody's Christmas bonus.
Okay, move along.
We don't know 9s yet.
Correct.
Do we need 15?
Nope.
Thank God. So we're good here.
Yep. And next picture.
Cylinder.
Well, you should be happy that we're not getting one of these. We can click on that just so you can see how much the row of cylinders is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see 4 digits.
Yeah. So just to confirm, we don't need a cylinder.
No, we don't need a cylinder. If we needed a cylinder too, I would have been like, let's buy an engine.
Okay. So do we need anything on this page?
We need
Do
number 2, which is a cylinder base gasket.
I'll pay $40 for that, man. As long as I ain't got to pay $1,200.
And we do not need anything else on this page.
Thank Jiminy Christmas. This engine's gonna have a real good Christmas.
Now here comes some more pain.
Cylinder head. Get ready, boys and girls. The sound effect for the money part for that crankshaft better have been
A
massive.
hammer on a piece
Yeah.
of steel.
Whoa! Head assembly. I'm clicking into this before I look at these numbers too much. All right, what?
Okay, so we're going to be replacing our cylinder head because we have bad guides, and there is one of the journals for the camshaft has been scored pretty good, and you cannot repair that part of the cylinder head. So we are going to replace the cylinder head assembly, and it will come assembled with pretty much everything you see within the number 1 bubble.
So the one is all of this stuff.
Yes, it's
This
new
major-
caps, new hardware, new cylinder head. Scroll this way.
Oh, I
Okay.
see. The line just continues over.
Yep, and goes around that stuff. Does
Got
it? It juts up. It juts up over the number 3, and then brings
Right.
everything else in.
Okay.
So,
So we're able to just order one. We don't have to go through.
Correct. Now, this is going to hurt.
Is this the number that I saw?
Yeah, it is.
No! Oh, God.
So you remember earlier when I said that the cylinder head would cost $3 or $4 grand? Now, you would take this number, and then you would add valves, springs, seats, caps, keepers, seals, camshafts, gaskets to have it completed. By the time all that is all said and done, you're looking at $3 grand.
All in the name of knowledge. So.
Yeah, that one's painful.
Yeah, that was a big boy.
Okay. So
Oh God.
we could probably do with replacing the O-rings for the intake boots for the throttle body, so number 20.
And we need 4 of them. Wow, $3.66 has never felt so trivial.
Well, you should be lucky that when you clicked on that number 1 and it was $1,161 and change, that you didn't have to buy 4 of them. Right?
Yeah.
At least it was only 1. Number 17.
17. Just 1. All right.
And number 18.
18. We need 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
We got the gasket. We got the number 4, right? That was the second thing we clicked on.
I don't think we did, actually. $71 for a gasket?
That's that 3-piece metal cylinder head gasket.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was like some rubber gasket. I was about to say, Lord help, fam. All right. That cart has 110 items in it. Oh my God.
14. Right here.
Oh, okay.
Now, you notice the reason why we're getting 14, go ahead and click on it.
We need all 8.
We do need all 8.
Okay.
The new cylinder head does not come with studs in it.
And they are outside of the
And they
box.
are outside of the box. So you need to be very cognizant of when you're looking at stuff like this, where you think, okay, cylinder head assembly, that's everything. You need to make sure that everything is what's in the box, and
If it ain't
double
in that
check
box, yeah.
to make sure that there's nothing outside of that box that you will need, because you'll be upset when all your parts show up and you go to put your head together and you can't put it on because you don't have any studs to put your exhaust
So
on.
what about 16 and 18? They're outside.
So 18 we already did, and 16s we don't have to replace.
Got it. Okay. So can we please, God, leave this screen?
So we go leave in 1 second. So if we were not replacing our cylinder head, we would need number 19s.
Okay.
So sometimes there's stuff inside the box that you can pick and choose out of.
Right.
And then the same thing with on the outside. I just wanted to point that one thing out. That would be a replaceable part, that crush washer that's there. But it's inside the bubble, so we don't have to order it separately.
All right, so we're good here?
We are good here.
That one.
Yes.
That one hurt the old account. All right, so that was the cylinder head.
Yep, one more
cylinder
photo.
head cover.
And go ahead and blow that up. We don't need anything inside of here because we're going to get block-off plates.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do number 10, which is an O-ring. Let's do number 4, which is the valve cover gasket itself. Let's do number 9, which are the seals for the valve cover hardware.
All 4 of them. I like any of them that aren't 5 digits. 4 digits, sorry. We haven't gotten to a 5 digit yet.
And that should be everything on this page.
I got hit so hard with that crankshaft. I feel like I'm numb to these small prices.
Well, the cylinder head was the biggest one.
No, but I got numb initially from the crankshaft, and I was just like, this is terrible.
Okay,
So there's gasket kit A and B.
so click on it. So it's showing you here, gasket kit A is for the top end. That's what's,
Oh, and it's a whole kit just full of gaskets.
yes.
Got it. Okay. Do we need that?
So we've went through and we've picked all that stuff individually.
Oh, okay. So this
You
was.
can just buy the whole, be like, oh, this is my top end. I need all these gaskets.
Oh, and you
Yes,
can also.
you can do that.
And then you can order them individually here. So you can handle all your gaskets just on this page if you want.
No, if you look at it, they're all number 1.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can order them individually.
But look, so number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1. They're all different versions of the same thing.
Oh. So this is all of the ones for all of these?
That might be what it's saying. It's like in this kit
Comes
are
these.
all this stuff.
And if you want,
Individually,
you'll
you
need
can-
8 of these, and they come in there. Okay. So we're good because we've individually selected all the ones we need, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we're out of here. Should we click into Gasket Kit B? Just
May as well
check?
take a look at it. Yep.
So what is this
Okay,
image
so-
of?
This is highlighting the bottom end.
Oh, okay.
So the other one highlighted the top end. This one highlights. So there's 2 gasket kits, one for the top end, one for the bottom
And
end.
they just separated it.
So the bottom end gasket kit we will need.
The whole kit.
It'll be easier just to get.
It's actually, yeah, this one's only 39. The other one was 106.
So this is more just like O-rings and seals.
Got it.
So
Okay,
let's see what's in it. So the oil strainer gasket, and then it's just going to say seals and washers. But
Right. So these are much smaller, low-key stuff.
yeah, this is probably some of the stuff that we picked, but it's okay to have some duplicates of some things
Especially when it's
just to
only
make
40
sure
bucks.
that you're not missing anything.
Yeah, I'd rather get to the point where we spend $40 to get the kit and then,
Not have to make a second order for 6 O-rings.
yeah, especially right now, God knows how long stuff will take. Okay, so that was Gasket Kit B, oil pan and oil pump. Yeah, we're definitely not going to need an oil pump, right?
So, let's get a 21. Let's get a 22 all the way at the bottom.
71 cents.
So I think that kit is going to come with all these O-rings and seals that we see on here. So we don't need to pick those. We need a number 7
7, got it.
and a number 3.
Then that's $170 for the pump. That's that really simple little piece of metal you
The metal and metal?
disassembled, yeah, with the little gear.
You pay lots of money for anything that is machined to specific tolerances.
Yeah, I imagine so.
So we have all the dowel pins. We don't need any of the hardware. The kit that we just ordered comes with all the seals that's in it, so we should be good here.
Okay. And that's the.
And I do believe that is the last photo in the engine section.
There's one more starting clutch. Clicking on it.
Just in case. Go ahead and blow that up in there. We didn't take ours apart. I don't think we need to. Ours works fine. We don't need anything in here.
Okay. So let's confirm that. Oh, right crankcase cover. This should be the final page.
All right, we didn't take any of that stuff apart. We're not planning to, correct? We're going to use the engine covers we have and then get case covers for protection.
Yes.
So let's get 14 as an O-ring. That's going to come in the bottom end kit as well, I think. So we don't need to do that. I do believe number 11. Okay, we'll get that one.
Cool.
That was that copper washer that was on one of the engine case covers. That was
Right.
the one. Not sure if it's going to come in the kit or not. We'll get it.
Better go ahead and get it. And so there's nothing else here
That we're going to need. Nope.
Okay. So that's everything.
You ready?
That's the entire. That's every part we need for this engine.
It's every part we need for the engine itself. We
For
won't
us
need-
to
we
rebuild
do
this
need
whole thing.
one more piece for the reinstallation into the frame that we boogered. If you want to put that on here now, or if you want to do that
Yeah,
later.
where's that at?
So go in the left. Okay, we can go from here and go down to frame and pull up the frame itself and then blow that up. And we are looking
I
for
know the part you're talking about. Okay.
not 19, but the one on the other side of the engine.
Would it be 15?
15. What's the mating part? What's the mating part to 15? 15 comes. I don't see it.
Would it be-
Go to the right a little bit. Oh, there it is. 12. It's 12.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, get 12. And just in case,
You want to grab 15 as well?
yes,
Okay. What about 8 to go with 15?
we're good on 8.
Okay.
That's a big steel bolt.
You can't buy a frame OEM, can you?
Yeah. Number 1.
Dude, they don't even have the price. Unavailable.
They probably don't have that frame available anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Never used one.
because, right, so you only have to build parts for machines for 8 years.
Oh wait, the frame would have cost $21.60.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's
that-
not as much as it could have been because our crankshaft was $1,100. So for another $900,
Get a new frame.
yeah, that's interesting. Or you could have gotten a new frame.
Yes, you could have gotten a new frame.
So with a frame, if you guys got a 2008 CBR1000, you're on buy a donor bike.
Brand new frame is no longer available.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're at final reveal. This is
All right, how many? We can see right now on
we have
the screen.
132 parts is what it's going to take us to rebuild our CBR1000 engine. You want to talk about hurting the bank account? Ready? Let's do it. Oh my God!
Hit it.
We're about to pay the same amount of money it would take to buy the motorcycle, and that we spent to buy the motorcycle to rebuild the engine.
That's just parts.
And that's
not
just part. That's
we're not paying for labor.
That is not labor. Oh my God. For you guys on the live stream, $4,910.28. Woo!
pretty sweet.
All right.
So what was?
You guys let us know in the comments.
guess
Were you
was-
guys close, or what? How much did you guys guess? Because you said 3,600. Okay, guys. So hopefully now you guys have a better idea of how to kind of pair a manual and the parts fish that you can get on Revzilla's OEM section, and kind of use those in conjunction to figure out what do you need. Is it a one-time part? Do you have to replace it? You know, how many things do you need to replace with it? Honestly, I can remember when I was starting out having to buy OEM parts, it was a nightmare. So the fact that we're at a position now where it's that easy, like I don't know other websites.
To buy
OE
OE parts
online for the bikes you
was
need.
difficult.
When
Yes.
did
Right.
you start doing this?
I don't know when Revzilla started this,
been a little while.
but it's probably been a year minimum that this has been an option.
Yeah, I think it's been a little longer than that too.
This is this is relatively new. So again, guys, shout out to Revzilla because it's gonna make this hurt a little less, and it's gonna help us out a ton. So if you guys are looking for OEM parts, make sure to support companies that are supporting us.
Oh yeah, we're still probably about $300 shy with all the plane bearings that we still have to get.
Okay, we're just gonna take one hit at a time. So, but yeah, seriously,
Spread it out.
the companies that support us, if you guys could support them, it helps us as an ecosystem. That's all we got on this episode. We gotta send off a parts order, and this kind of
You're gonna get fired.
I probably am.
You're gonna get fired.
Revzilla's
They're gonna be like, you know what, fella? We changed our mind.
Paperwork's not finalized.
The date was wrong on our contract, so it's null and void. And yeah,
let's hope.
everybody you've ever spoken to at Revzilla is about to get fired.
Shout out to Anthony at Revzilla.
I like how you pulled the big dog in.
Thank you so much. I will say Revzilla as many times throughout this season as I have to. Please.
You're gonna have to wear Revzilla outfit from head to toe
I will do that.
for the rest of the season.
Uniform?
We'll find out. We'll find out on the next episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out how much Chase has to out his body to Revzilla to make this.
I'll be a Revzilla shill. I'll just sit quietly in the corner wearing the mascot outfit.
I will
like,
make
on the
you.
live stream.
Okay. So this does kind of stops us, or not stops us, but it kind of brings us to an end of our CBR 1000. Like we've been doing nothing but CBR 1000 for a minute.
Yep.
So this is kind of our last episode of really digging into that, and we're gonna start having to get back into our other builds. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait on these parts, and we'll keep you guys updated. If you guys want up-to-date updates, like as we're doing them, patreon.com is a place to go. You can win bikes for as little as $5. Join us and help us out build these motorcycles. That's all I got.
So outro crew.
Outro crew. Thank you for getting to the end of the video, by the way. hit the damn like button. Thank you. Okay,
Outro crew. Would you guess at an engine and spend $2,000 on a replacement? Or would you go for it and know that it's built fresh and spend $5,000 on it?
$5,000 would have to make the assumption that they are at your level and can rebuild it, though.
Well, let's make that assumption.
Okay. For the guys out there that are
Capable, because those are the guys that really kind of
would even think about doing it.
yes.
Yeah. So, Outro crew, if you're at the technical level, where would you go? Because you're taking a crapshoot. Oh, that's a $2,000 bet that you're hoping is going to come to fruition.
You
That's
know,
ballsy.
you could very well buy an engine online and it's exactly what ours was like inside, and you would never know until you put it in and turn the key and push the button and the thing warms up and starts knocking, and now you're...
That is where you die inside.
Now there are some things that you could check when you get the engine to make sure the thing is not blown up before you put it in the frame, but you still have a $2,000 engine. If it happens to be a $2,000 engine, you know, that you now own that's blown up, and what do you do?
I'm not a betting man. I couldn't do that.
So,
All right, guys, we're out of here. Thank you guys so much for getting to the end of the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Wrecked Bike Rebuild. Goodbye.